Hey, how's everybody doing out there? We just made it through Christmas again. We made it through Christmas 2021, and we got New Year's coming up. Thanks for coming down to Welcome Back to America once again, Season 5, Episode 3, the one with the holidays. And of course, I have with me the inimitable, I think that's a word, the incomparable Millie Micheals. Millie, good to see you. Thanks
Yes.
for coming down again once. It's always fun to have you around.
Yes. Happy holidays, Dan. It's so wonderful to see you.
How was your holiday?
Oh, it was fabulous. It was just so wonderful. I got a garbage pail and a piece of cake and...
Wait, was the piece of cake in the garbage pail? Because then that's a really bad sign.
No, it was not. No, came in its own box.
Okay.
And it's
That's
very
nice.
It's the cake that keeps giving because it adds to your butt.
Yeah.
Cake. Yeah.
It's the same with garbage. What? So that was your holiday. You had to cancel some. You usually have a Christmas party, I believe.
Yes, had to cancel because of COVID, and that's why I'm wearing my 2020 glasses because it's going to be the same thing again this year.
It does seem. I just saw on the news that the 60 people died.
Oh my goodness!
2 days. I don't mean to laugh about that. There's nothing funny, but It's not being played out in the news the way it was a year or more ago.
Yes,
they're trying to downplay it.
Yes, it's not as obnoxious during dinner time.
Right. I'm now working for the Islanders part-time. So
that is great.
I have the luck of being in the largest place on Long Island that can have the most amount of people in any one event. So there's 13,000 people there. So without it's somewhat of a super spreader, and it can't not be. It would have to happen because I would say 2/3 aren't wearing their masks there.
Oh, really? They're not making them wear the mask?
Oh, good luck making 13,000 white male Long Islanders wear their mask. That's not going to happen. And it is mostly males there. There's a lot of women there too. But
a lot of beer. And there's a lot of beer.
And there's a lot of beer. And now there's a lot of Omicron. But it's a great job. I look forward to it. They're a lot of fun. It's a great group. And I love the Islanders. I have a lot
That's great. So do I.
Big franchise. And
beautiful stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium. Have you been there? You've gone?
No, but I've seen through your eyes. Yes.
Yeah, it is very nice to be in a new, beautiful place. It's been too long because I used to do it at Nassau Coliseum.
Wow.
It's the new year. Any New Year's plans? Anything?
No, I'm still working on the plans from about 20 years ago.
Okay, you got to get those done first. I can understand.
Got to check them off.
Is your agent off screen? Agent off screen right now? Okay.
Yes, in the bathroom, actually.
Okay. Oh, you should totally bring the camera over there right now. That's the best time to do it. Knock on the door.
No.
So this week, we're talking about podcasts. And because our guest is Joshua Dudley, who works for Forbes magazine, Forbes.com, and he does articles about podcasts and interviews podcasters. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with him after this. And do you have any podcasts that you like, or is there anything that you have to say about podcasts? I know you did a little research there.
Yes, well, I do enjoy podcasts. I also enjoy magazines, but you learn more from the podcasts and the magazines because it's minus advertisement. And I did learn that originally when the podcast started that it was just white men in flannels, and now it's just everybody's included. It's not just, you don't have to have a flannel to do a podcast.
No, all fashion senses are now allowed onto podcasts. And I think there's probably a podcast for every subject, even like cracks in a door.
Yes.
Podcast, and we're going to look at cracks in a door. And how much right.
It's amazing. Now there's a magazine called Podcasts. Do you know that?
That's funny, and I'm not surprised, of course. I never want this show to be confused as a podcast. We have a talk show because we're adults.
Yes.
If you have a podcast, that means you're a child. I think that's what Howard Stern said. Howard Stern said something like that. Podcasts are for losers. That's not actually true, because someone like Joe Rogan made $100 million last year on a
Right.
podcast where he just sits down for an hour and talks to someone. So
And really, what does Howard Stern know? Because he throws baloney at people's butts. I mean, right?
Oh, I would love to see that. I'm gonna have to Google that. I'm gonna have to Google that and check that out. I haven't watched or listened to Howard.
That's a while ago. That's a while ago.
Yeah, when he was better, when everybody was watching and listening, and he made news all the time. It's too bad that that show isn't what it used to be. But it is also a podcast. It is.
Yes.
You can get it on podcast platforms. So I guess it's a podcast. And I guess even though my best efforts to make this show not a podcast, it still somewhat is. Hey, at least it's not cable access.
Okay.
Cable access would make me feel particularly terrible about myself. I've watched a bunch of different podcasts recently, and I think the subject matter that I always like the most is still entertainment gossip.
Yes.
That's general. I don't know why, because I don't care about these people much, but I love hearing stories of terrible things that happen to celebrities. So,
wow.
Just want to see terrible things happen.
And how they get out of it.
Yeah.
That's the interesting part. That's the part we don't know about. Because when we get in trouble, we get in trouble. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And we don't really get in trouble. No one in the
But we can't get in trouble.
No, nobody. We don't get paid for any of this. So
I'm not going to jail.
It's hard to get in trouble for something you don't get paid for. But I will Venmo you $5 so that I can say I paid you next time.
Thank you.
So you're gonna stay home for New Year's? Is that the plan?
I'm trying to get to a party, but there's been a lot of COVID in that neighborhood. So I would still personally go because I'm like that. I will go to a COVID party and just, try to take some echinacea or something before I go.
Suck it up.
Yeah, I enjoy parties.
I've been invited to sneak into a party at the Carlton.
Wow.
So
that's nice.
I might do that. All you got to do is dress up nice and go into any party, anywhere at a catering hall, and you will get in.
Dan, you know everything about fun.
Yeah. I've only done that a handful of times. I'm usually working those events, but it is easy. Go to the Swan Club. The Swan Club is like a party factory. So it's hard for them to keep an eye on everybody.
Wow, this is all good advice. See,
that's why people come to Welcome Back to America for good advice.
Good advice.
Millie?
Yes?
It's always good to see you. Always good to have you here.
Yes. DB, always nice to be invited. Thank you.
I have a bag of gifts that are waiting for you that I just haven't been able to bring by.
Is it something I can use with cake or with my garbage pail? Because that would really make me feel good.
Well, yeah, you could throw it all away. So, yeah.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, you could use your garbage pail with anything. That's the great thing about that gift.
You know what? It's a traveling garbage pail, Dan.
Oh.
It goes in the car. Yeah, it's mainly for the car.
I don't know what to say.
Should I get it? You want me to show you?
Sure, I'd love to see it. I'll play some interlude music while. Da 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 da. That's a lunch bag.
It's a car garbage pail. Oh, it has presents. What's this? Oh, this is something I stole. I got a Bluetooth. I forgot I stole this, so I got this for Christmas.
What is that?
It's a boom box.
Oh yeah, there's always a speaker.
No one's gonna miss it, right? They all got one.
No, but you did admit that on television.
Yeah, well, it's all right. Oh, I got other people's gifts in here. What the heck? Oh, this is all part of it. Yeah, it's a garbage pail. And you're in the car and you need to put your masks somewhere or your sanitization wipes right in here. Keeps it nice and clean.
Wow. Up until now, I just used a bag, like a plastic bag. Wow.
Me too. Who the hell knew? No, who the hell knew that I needed this for Christmas? I didn't know that.
Great
But
gift.
at least like I forgot that I sold this, so I'm very happy. So I got 3 things.
My gift was this chair.
That is, I love it. That's beautiful, Dan.
Yeah, I like
it. Sit in good health, Dan.
I'm very happy with the chair.
Sit in good health.
My mom did well.
Aw, she's so sweet, your mom.
We had a great Christmas this year. It was very comfortable. There was no tension. Nobody fought. That was great.
That's great. I know, because that was my early years in my life. There was always somebody getting locked out of the house. There was always
always.
Always.
This year, nobody got too drunk. We did all our drinking alone after we separated.
That's good. That's good.
So Millie, yeah, I'm gonna have a chat with Joshua Dudley.
Nice.
After this. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks for coming down.
You're welcome.
Welcome back to America. As always, happy holidays, happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. Happy better New Year.
Happy better New Year.
I continue having fun, Dan.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming back to Welcome Back to America. Tonight, I have a very, very special guest. I've known this guy a few years. He's a very talented writer, actor, and comedian. We met doing comedy in New York City. He's from, I believe, West Virginia, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. He is a writer for Forbes.com. He interviews podcasters all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Dudley, come on down. You're the next contestant on Welcome Back to America.
DB, welcome back to America. Indeed, I'm from regular Virginia. West Virginia is the place where you get tattoos and tires, usually at the same place.
Yeah. I would get a tattoo of a tire.
You should. I mean, it's a combo pack.
Yeah. But I'm sure you've been to West Virginia.
Only by accident.
Oh, I've heard that before. The only person I know from West Virginia is dead.
Yeah.
Well, now that I know you're not from West Virginia.
Well, I'm not dead, so here I am.
Now you've just recently got married.
I did.
And moved back into New York City, which is from Virginia to New York City, a huge difference.
It is a pretty big difference. I don't have chickens anymore.
Oh, I thought you brought some of the chickens back.
I did. I have a stuffed chicken, and we just went to Christmas at my parents'. And I left her there. Otherwise, I'd be displaying her on the show right now. I'm very sorry. I'm very upset about it.
That's my chicken impression, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
You ever chase a chicken? You ever chase a chicken like Rocky?
Oh, always. You got to.
Chase that chicken, Josh. Chase it.
Well, I mean, if you want to eat lightning and crap thunder, you need to.
Oh, man. Imagine actually doing that. And you'd be like, I never want to shit again.
That would be painful.
That's how I would feel. I'd live in fear of that all the time.
I think you described the 10th circle of hell just now.
Yes. What are some of the biggest differences between Virginia and New York City, where you are now?
Backyards.
Backyards. Yeah. I love a backyard. We're not using that as a euphemism right now, are we?
No.
Okay. Because I also like backyards. Whatever that means.
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me.
You've been a writer for many years and an actor. I believe we met first doing some comedy a few years back. I think Todd Monacy, one of many Todd Monacy's productions. And have you done any stand-up in the last couple of years? During the lockdown?
No, although I did a few open mics in Boston when I was working. I got sick when I moved home. Well, I mean, I moved home because I was sick 7 or 8 years ago from Crohn's disease, and I didn't do as much performance in Virginia because I wasn't feeling the greatest. But I was traveling to Boston for some marketing work, and I did some open mics. And the thing to remember when you haven't performed in a while is you can't do all your material in 3 minutes. That just doesn't work.
You're trying to speed through it. Sometimes I'm just trying to get off a stage.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get through it to get off the stage.
Uh-huh.
I would imagine, I've never played Virginia or Boston, but I would imagine both very different places. And the audiences in Virginia, I would think, would be so very different.
Yes, the audiences in Virginia are very different. This hipster comedy would not fly here, I don't think.
No, a lot of my stuff would go over their heads.
Yeah. In Virginia, I think you have to talk about weed, probably online dating, and terrible Christmas gifts, I guess. That would be this week's material.
I gave you a couple of terrible Christmas gifts.
No, you did not.
I gave you Islanders jerseys.
And those went over pretty big with my my two brothers-in-law.
Oh, did you give them to your brother? Yeah. I hope you did. Yeah.
Gave them away. They loved them.
Good. I think it's the funniest thing to give any Islanders type stuff to New Yorkers.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it's almost like an insult, but not. But I gave out a lot of those jerseys, mostly to Long Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
And they also didn't like them.
No. Big hit with us. Yeah, no, we loved them. My two brothers-in-law sang the Island Boys theme song and everything.
Oh, it made a moment.
Yeah.
I made a moment across the country. Well, not across the country, down country.
Yeah.
Down country, down. You are also, for the last few years, you've been writing in several different capacities.
Mm-hmm.
And you most recently have been working on the Forbes website, Forbes.com, and you run the podcast section of what they put out there. And what led to that gig? What led to that writing job? Most writers out there want to know how they can get jobs themselves. Is it just perseverance? Or is it talent?
Or are you the son or daughter of someone famous at the magazine? I mean, there is that too. Don't forget.
Nepotism? Never heard of it.
No, it works. You should try it sometime.
The only nepotism I can have is in the world of crime. Wow, what was that?
That was the ghost of Christmas Future.
Oh my God, that scares me so much that just happened. You've talked about that place being haunted.
Uh-huh.
You've talked about the Insonia being haunted, right?
Well, my wife has. I've never seen it, although something else did fall down when we were watching the Polar Express, right in the middle of the movie. It was kind of scary, like a little light display fell down right at a climactic moment in the movie.
I like the Polar Express is probably one of my favorite Christmas movies, but I would say I like the Bipolar Express a little bit more. It's a lot more all over the place, but the Bipolar Express.
I should try that. Is that available on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime and Hulu and every deranged brain you can find.
I love that. So anyway, basically you're asking how I got started writing for Forbes. Well, I started writing for the New York Observer about 6 years ago, just because I was trying to go to a Radiohead concert. The tickets were sold out online within 5 seconds. So I got so mad that I eventually wrote an incredible article about it that changed New York City ticketing laws.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. They cracked down on ticket bots.
Oh, okay. So
right around that same time. I mean, they didn't cite me when they passed the law, but I'd like to think my article with 50,000 views had something to do with it. I'd like to think. I
would love to see the Dudley Act. The Dudley Act of 2015. That'd be great. That's what I want. I just want to be named in like some some amazing Supreme Court proceeding. I just want my name listed in something so that everyone knows that I exist.
You definitely do. That's you should.
Prove it.
This is
You can't prove that I exist.
You've been to my apartment.
I don't remember that. Even though I just spoke about it 10 minutes ago.
Well, apparently, hey, everything's a joke now. You can just say, let's go Brandon to the president of the United States. And apparently it's still a joke.
Yeah, I guess it is.
But anyway, so I got started in podcast writing because after that article about ticket scalping at a Radiohead concert, I'd never written anything else before. So I had no idea what to do. So when you write something, you're only as good as your next thing, you know. So all my next ideas were terrible. And after suffering through all my terrible ideas for about a month or two, my editor was like, why don't you write about podcasts? That was at the Observer, and I did that for 2 years. And I, like you said, I interviewed just about every famous podcaster out there, like Aaron Mankey of Lore, James Urbaniak, the Hello from the Magic Tavern. You might have heard of that improv podcast.
Sure.
And then eventually Forbes is like, we're just not doing this podcast thing anymore. So, I mean, the Observer wasn't. And then I reached out to Forbes and asked them, and they're like, yeah, when can you start?
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I've been doing that ever since. That was 2018.
What are the subjects that you would most want to hear about in podcasts?
Is it true crime?
Oh, it's not. There's no right answer.
Oh, okay.
There's no right answer.
Me and Phoebe just listened to a long podcast about typewriters.
Oh, did they mention Corona at all?
No.
Because there's the Corona typewriter is one of the most popular typewriters out there.
Oh, no, they didn't. It was just about how, since we replace everything like phones, webcams, like every 2 years, like when we die, we're not going to have, our kids or grandkids aren't going to have like that object that we had our whole lives to pick up on, like grandfather's cane or his phone or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, because we're not as tied to like that one object as people used to be in the olden days.
That would be an interesting story to do from that angle, the angle of nobody really, like a generation from now, people might not even remember what a typewriter looks like.
No, but apparently there's still a place downtown New York City that fixes typewriters.
Well, it's always going to have to be some niche for everything.
Yeah.
There's always some place to have your old thing fixed because someone still does it. I know a lot of people with Electrolux vacuums.
Yeah.
And that's a hard business to find, Electrolux, and having them fix a 75-year-old vacuum. I went to Philadelphia just before I got married to fix my espresso machine. Just to fix the espresso machine?
Well, there wasn't anywhere in New York City to do it.
Wow. That's what kind of espresso machine was it? Was it one of those big ornate ones?
Yeah, it grinds the beans. It's called DeLonghi. It's an Italian company.
Yeah, I do know them. Yes, I have seen those.
Yeah, all the places that fix it are like these teeny tiny shops that also fix vacuum cleaners, like you said, and they're in New Jersey and one's in Philadelphia.
Now, are there any podcasts that you listen to regularly that you're like, you have to hear every week, you can't live without?
Oh, I love the NPR style podcast, like 99% Invisible and Radio Lab. They always give me the weirdest new interesting things to in the world to think about that aren't, things to argue about. That's the best thing. That's the best thing to listen to now. Stuff that people aren't arguing about.
Well, I've always found my favorite things to watch were always like morning talk shows where the talk show hosts obviously didn't get along. I like to see contention in my morning conversation.
Contention in a podcast.
Yeah. I actually sat in on a sports pilot last week as consulted on a sports pilot. and they were essentially just looking at the hosts, and they wanted to know, like, what could we make better about these hosts? Like, how can we make them better and more interesting? And what I really thought of was they need to fight more. They need to argue about sports more. I want to see dissension. That's just me.
You got to have that between two people. But no, the ones I like are just like telling a story about something like a typewriter, or just like a particular object, or I don't know, the story of headphones or something. I don't know, just some stuff that gets you thinking, especially when I'm driving. I like stuff that gets me to think. But
thinking hurts my brain. I try not to think much. That's why I produce this show, so I don't have to think.
And you texted me, so I didn't have to remember when I was going on. So
no, I texted you like 8 times.
I know.
Reminding you.
Thank you.
I'm like I'm constant confirmer. I over communicate. I communicate too much. It's why none of my relationships work. Most of them don't work because people don't communicate enough. For me, they don't work because I communicate too much.
I can completely understand that. That was part of my comedy routine for years about Crohn's disease. I never know, because I have Crohn's disease, and you never know when's a good time on the first date to tell someone that you could die at any moment. I just
oh man.
It's like, how much information is too much?
Well, you just told all 5 people that are going to watch this show this week.
Right.
What do you have any plans for New Year's?
Avoid everyone if possible.
Okay. Is that the winter? Do you think that'll be the winter avoidance?
It sure seems like it.
For New Year's, I may be sneaking into a major New Year's Eve party at the Carlton. So I was told that there's a party there. I know someone who's working, and they were like, hey, just come around, and after an hour after the party starts. That can work at almost any catering hall. Just dress in a tux and go, and you'll be fine, and you'll be able to drink for free. I would be a great homeless person.
I think that's also the plot of Oceans 10, 11, and 12, I think.
Just dressing up and going into the casino.
Catering, going to a party, yeah.
Yeah.
Stealing something.
Yeah. I don't usually steal anything unless you count the alcohol I don't pay for, but that's open bar. So it's not really stealing if it's already free, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what I keep on telling the judge. What is in store for you in the new year? What are your plans? What do you want to do? What do you want to make happen for yourself? What do you want to make happen for other people?
I just restarted my podcast, Joshua and Phoebe Yell About Movies, with my wife.
I love the title.
And we just finished recording an episode on The Power of the Dog with Indy.
Phoebe is right there.
Yep.
Why didn't she come on and say hello?
You wanted to come on and say hello on the show?
If she, I don't want to impose.
There we go. She's right there.
That's it.
She's shaking my table.
That's great. That was fantastic.
Yeah. And so I've done about 25 episodes of the show before. We just brought it back. Obviously, I went on hiatus when we got married. I mean, we got engaged and talk to each other about 7 hours a day. It's hard to record a podcast when you're doing that.
Because he over communicates.
Yeah, Josh, maybe you should
communicate.
I could teach you something.
Yeah. So I'm looking, what it is instead of just doing like a regular interview show where I just interview somebody about like their highs and their lows or whatever, we talk about movies because people like doing that and gets them out of the normal thing they talk about. So
everybody likes at least one movie.
Everybody does. And so since I've interviewed so many people in the past for Forbes, I try to get those same guests I've interviewed onto my show. Like I have John Forte coming up. He wants the producer for the Fugees. He wants to do it.
That's you.
It is. I'm trying to get Amanda Knox on my show. She went to jail in Italy for several years.
Yes.
May have to do that one without Phoebe. She's still not sure about her.
Well, she can't like.
Never mind. She says that's not true. Okay.
You can't. She's not going to hurt you online.
Right.
She's not going to unless she figured out something. Just don't move in with her.
Exactly. I've already moved. No, I won't.
We'll never be able to have her on the show now that you said that.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, ever.
Ever?
Would you go
I
on?
could take it out.
I think she's fine. Yes, it's live.
This isn't live.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
No, this isn't live. I'm taping this. This is gonna hopefully go up June.
It's not a super great look when you're like, yeah, we think we're gonna have this person on there, but Phoebe's afraid of her. Like, I
Right.
would come on.
I
would.
know. I'm sure that. Yeah.
I would make it
I'm
a
sure
whole
she-
episode though. If she was willing to talk to two hosts, one of them believes her and one of them doesn't, I'd listen.
Yeah.
see,
Sure.
that's conflict, like you said.
It's also
Sure. And yeah.
But I mean, she may not have time for me after, going on the big shows like Joe Rogan and everybody,
Right. Yes. Has she been on Joe Rogan?
Yeah, like a month ago.
It's not like there's a lot of money in it. So, but she's got to do what she's got to do. I'm sure she made a little money from a book.
Yeah. Oh, she has a great podcast actually you should listen to called Labyrinth, her and her husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they talk to people like Geordie LaForge from Star Trek, whatever his real name is.
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton, yeah. I heard he also reads.
Yes.
He reads Rainbows, I think.
If you were ever going to get him on the show, now he's not going to come on either.
We're assuming everyone now listens to this show.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. Nobody's. Yeah. Amanda Knox is not going to hear about this either way, after or before the edit.
Yeah. So it's fun. We try to keep each episode about a half hour. And what I do is I when I watch the movies now, I try to take notes on like little key phrasings, because you think directors are usually trying to get some point across, and so in almost every kind of movie, there's like a major line of dialogue, and it sort of like sets the theme or the next 5 minutes of the movie, and those are the ones I write down and sort of ask about. What did you think when they said this? Because like
Now,
tonal shifts.
The movies that I've seen over the holiday were I saw Ghostbusters, I saw Matrix, I saw West Side Story.
Yep.
I saw Don't Look Up, and I saw Spider-Man.
Yeah, we did a West Side Story episode 2 weeks ago.
West Side Story was great. I really thought it was particularly good.
It was on our show.
Yeah, it was on our show. We did it with
Michael and Dennis.
with our friends, with our gay friends Michael and Dennis, who
Yes,
yes.
I remember your friends. Yes, I remember them from the wedding.
Yeah, we weren't profiling them. They are actually knowledgeable about show tunes. It wasn't a
I know, I'm sure. I'm very knowledgeable about show tunes too.
We should have you on the next one. That's
Well-
right. What are we gonna have DB on our show?
That's not why I'm
That's
bringing
right.
it up.
That's my real future. I'm looking forward to.
We'll play that card when it comes.
That's gonna be a
yeah.
good show.
And also, I have a bunch of other podcast ideas in the works. Like I was thinking about doing like a podcast version of the beginning of When Harry Met Sally. They talk to these couples about how they fell in love, and they get a cute story and the music going.
Yes, that whole movie. It was very Woody Allen of that movie, actually, because Rob Reiner stole that from Woody Allen
We are
for
so Woody Allen without the kids.
right without all that. Yeah, I'm not trying to stand up for Woody Allen right now, and I mean, for the first time last year, I actually do believe that he did what everyone says he did. For the first time, I always was on his side. Like until I saw the documentary, and I was like, oh, I've been on the wrong side of something. But I still, he still did a lot of things, and that I think was from Hannah and Her Sisters. Rob Reiner took that out of Hannah and Her Sisters because there were interviews within it, and through all of that movie, Bewitched is played.
Yeah,
it's like the only song that's played through every scene. So it's an interesting little element. But yeah, I would love to see that. Especially really old couples. Like if you can get lots of people who've been together for 75 years and still have an amazing affection for each other, that's always beautiful to see.
Yeah, I think so. And it's like a topic that everybody loves. Everybody likes to hear stories. I mean, everywhere we go, we have to repeat the story of how we met and some form of it. So yeah, people like to hear that stuff, to know that the end isn't necessarily coming for them. You know what I mean? Like.
Right. And if did you see Don't Look Up? It seems
we
like
haven't seen it yet. We may do that on the show.
everybody. It seems to be pretty universally hated. Like if people have watched it online, just hate it. But the whole movie, I mean, and that's part of the point of the movie is that people are going to come away hating it because it's the point of the movie is that everyone's stupid. Like everyone's being stupid. So you come away from that movie being told you're stupid. Nobody likes that. But if you can get beyond that, it's a really important movie that might just be a documentary from another metaverse.
I hope so. We just watched The Matrix last night again. We're going to do that on the show. Have you seen that?
Yes, I did watch the fourth one. I was going to watch the first three, but it was a daunting task.
Oh my God.
Halfway through the first one.
That's terrible. But yeah, that concept of how you can really apply to whatever you want, whatever your frame of reference is, that could be The Matrix. It doesn't matter,
No, it doesn't. The Matrix is whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, it's really wide open. It's like it's like they say about all good art. Once you make it, put it out in the world, it's no longer yours.
Right. And also to that effect, no piece of artwork is ever finished. I believe any artist could keep on going, and you could keep on drawing something or sculpting something forever, or writing something forever.
They could. Hey, also in Virginia news, I don't know if you heard, but they hauled away the statue of the general of the Confederacy, Robert E. Lee.
Robert E. Lee, yes.
You heard they hauled away the statue?
Yes.
Did you hear that there were time capsules buried underneath it?
What?
I didn't. No.
What was in them?
What was in them? What was in them? I think there was a note.
Racism?
What's that? I think one of them was a note that said, "Ha ha ha! I really did it. I got away with all this. They think I'm a hero."
I'd love to see if that was in his own handwriting. I don't believe that.
Was there a time capsule, really?
There was actually. In fact, they found a second one. I don't know. What do you think's in the second one?
I don't know, but it's a great note.
Do you think he's apologizing for the first one? Hey, sorry about that first time capsule. That's not the real me.
Right. He's Robert E. Lee was probably bipolar anyway.
Exactly.
Tom Hanks made an appearance in Yellowstone. 1883, the spinoff of the TV show Yellowstone, and he made an appearance as Ulysses S. Grant. And it was cool. It was only like a moment, 15 seconds. He sees someone on the battlefield and he puts his hand on their shoulder and is just making sure they're okay. And then you don't see him at all anymore. So, Tom Hanks literally shot for like an hour probably and he made $1 million. Something.
Well, that's the great part about the older generation. It seems like for the most part, they don't look back as much because looking back is painful. So they only look forward.
Yeah, it is. On that note, on looking back, Joshua, thank you so much for coming down today.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate the conversation. I'm sorry I didn't have you on sooner. I don't know why I didn't. You're one of my favorite people. And now Phoebe is too, because anybody that loves you, I love too.
Yay! All right. Well,
back at you.
Well, thanks, DB. Sounds like we'll have to have you on the show talking about that new movie that everyone hates.
Yeah, I like the movie, so I'm pro it. So you guys might not like it. I would love to chat with a group that doesn't like it.
Oh, okay. Maybe you could find a podcast called Not Yelling About Movies in that case.
I like that. People who just agree on everything and there's
yeah. Well, it's just well, like for the most part, when I've done some movie reviews also, and if I'm going to really hate a movie, I don't even want to bother wasting my time writing about why I hate it.
I agree. If I don't like a show, I've written a lot of reviews of Broadway shows, and if I don't like something, I just don't write it. I don't want to. There's no reason for me to write negative things about anybody. Nobody cares what I think anyway, much less the negative things I have to say about people I don't know.
That's right. Well,
thank you so much for coming down. If there's anything you'd like to tell the audience, where to go, a website, anywhere.
You can catch all of our latest episodes at yellaboutmovies.com.
Yellow.movie.
No, yell.movies.com.
Yellaboutmovies.com.
My focus group of my wife and my sister seemed to think it was a catchy title.
I think it's a great title. I love it.
Yeah.
Look forward to checking it out. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned, because after this, the show's over. Welcome back to America.
After this, sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Be well.
All
Love
right.
you guys.
All right. Happy holidays.